Hello guys, this is Highboy. 안녕하세요. Highboy입니다. So 2 days ago, the New Yorker released this article called "The K-Pop King," and it's about Bang Si-hyuk, HYBE, BTS, and Katseye. Specifically, it discusses like Bang Si-hyuk's ambitions to expand his K-pop vision into the U.S. music industry, and it highlights how like Bang Si-hyuk's like innovative approach to creating and nurturing K-pop idols, particularly through like fan engagement and strategic content creation, has innovated the music industry. So I have already read it, but I would like to read it with you. So I have like supporting like materials all up here. We can take a look at while we talk about this. By the way, this photo, I think he's photoshopped onto this. So these are the Katseye members, right? This is definitely Photoshop, right? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure. If you know, please let me know. Photographed by Charlotte Rutherford for the New Yorker. Okay. Bang with Katseye. Maybe it's not Photoshop. Why does it look like? Oh yeah, this is definitely not Photoshop. I can see the. Interesting. But there's no like interaction between them though. That's funny. 그리고 만약에 제가 에너지가 남는다면은 한국어로도 한번 이야기를 나눠보겠습니다. Alright. So here we go. The K-pop king, Chairman Bang, the man behind BTS, is bringing his formula for creating K-pop idols to America. So right from the bat, we know that there are several things that this article will talk about, right? Chairman Bang, Hitman Bang, BTS, Katseye, and HYBE. Okay, so here we go. Scooter Braun was in a tailspin. It was February 2021, and the music manager who made his name launching the careers of Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande was nearing 40 and facing a brutal divorce. Now, it's interesting how the article starts with Scooter Braun, right? The key man for HYBE and Bang Si-hyuk when it comes to the promotion in the U.S., right? He's the CEO of HYBE America currently. An equally nasty battle was Taylor Swift over his ownership of her song catalog and sullied his public image. Rumors circulated that the future of Braun's company, Ithaca Holdings, was in doubt. Amid this tumult, he was surprised to receive an invitation to speak with someone who had long fascinated him, the South Korean producer Bang Si-hyuk, known to admirers as Hitman Bang. That's his producer name, correct? Braun had first heard of Bang several years earlier when a member of his social media team told him about a boy band from South Korea whose online engagement numbers had surpassed even Bieber's. Braun was skeptical and asked her to check the figures again in a week. They'd gone up. The group, BTS, became the biggest act in the world and the one with the most zealous fan community. Shout out to ARMY, which routinely mobilizes online to ensure that their boys top the charts. Bang had handpicked the group's members and co-written many of its early hits. Braun and Bang met on Zoom and bonded over the fact that both had plucked young artists from obscurity and guided their meteoric ascents. It was like finding a kindred spirit across the sea, Braun told me. I've never been here, me referring to the journalist, right, or the writer, Alex. I've never been able to talk to anyone about this stuff. Soon, they were chatting 3 times a week. A month later, Braun sold his company to Bang's HYBE Corporation in a deal worth upward of $1 billion. So sold his company, which was Ithaca Holdings. Okay, HYBE, founded in 2005, is part record label, part talent agency, part tech platform, part entertainment conglomerate. Bang is determined to extend the company's influence across the international pop landscape. To this end, he named Braun a CEO of HYBE America, like I told you, right? Like I showed you. And announced a 10-year partnership with Universal Music Group, whose head, Sir Lucien Grange, praised HYBE's groundbreaking model for engaging the super fan. And there you go. They made this announcement back in March, right? HYBE and UMG announced new global alliance. John Janik, the CEO of the Universal Division Interscope Geffen A&M, joined forces with Bang to create Katseye, a multiracial English language girl group modeled on the K-pop framework. The goal was to confect a juggernaut, or failing that, at least to score a few hits. Janik told me, Bang wants to have number ones around the world and the biggest artists globally, but the fans are the key. Other labels had chased fleeting TikTok sensation for short-term gain. The K-pop model, by contrast, is a long-term strategy that invests in years of training and development for each act. Bang has helped the business continue to evolve, Janik said. Braun, once a Svengali of America's biggest pop stars, now has a Svengali of his own, meaning he has been guiding other artists, but now he has someone else guide him, which is Bang, right? He told me, the thing that made me believe that Spotify was going to work was Daniel Ek, their service's co-founder. The thing that makes me believe HYBE is going to work is Bang. HYBE's Seoul headquarters is a 19-story tower swarming with activity. Each day, hundreds of pilgrims show up hoping for a glimpse of their idols. The building has several recording and rehearsal studios, and security is high. On floors where artists work and train, protective measures have included biometric scans. By comparison, HYBE's LA outpost is deceptively modest, 3 floors in a building in Santa Monica. When I visited this past spring, the office was almost empty. Bang was waiting for me in a Spartan conference room, holding an acoustic guitar. He didn't play anything though. Bang is portly and good-humored. Interesting choice of words. So, a couple of weeks ago, when I talked about Bang's Instagram post, that the photo he took with Katseye members, I used the word fat or chubby, and one of my subscribers pointed out that that's not really a respectful term to refer to Bang, and they suggested overweight. Yeah, at the time I was having a hard time looking for the right choice of words, but next time maybe I should use this one, portly and good-humored. He was born in Seoul and was a solitary, bookish child until his parents, concerned about his shyness, encouraged him to take up the guitar as a hobby. I went a little bit further than my parents intended, he said, wearily. He memorized the Billboard charts, got into Led Zeppelin and heavy metal, and formed a band, sometimes skipping classes to jam. He set music aside to secure entrances to Seoul National University, which is, regarded as the best school in Korea. Is every Korean student's dream. But he soon returned to the scene as a producer. Bang held off on telling his parents until he became successful enough to give them an envelope full of cash. Musicians can make money too, he said. 3 decades later, Bang is a billionaire. We spoke through a translator whom he sometimes outpaced with references to such stars as Kendrick Lamar and Joey Badass. Oh, okay. I like that. Oh, I didn't know that Bang likes Kendrick Lamar. Well, I mean, I know he, likes hip hop. But Kendrick Lamar is my favorite, one of my favorite artists. And in fact, I'm going on a tangent here, but the Billie Jean issue and Kendrick Lamar's beef with Drake happened at the same time, right? And there were so many similarities between those two events. I might talk about this later, but anyways, but that was really interesting to me. Often, he became so animated that he switched to English. Bang got his start at JYP Entertainment, a Korean label. In 2005, he formed his own, calling it Big Hit Entertainment. The company became HYBE in 2021. Other K-pop outfits policed their trainees' conduct, but Bang didn't set curfews or confiscate phones, allowing candidates to succeed or fail on the strength of their own talent and drive. Bang said early on, we tell them, do whatever you want, but get out if there's no development. Ooh. He originally wanted BTS to be a hip-hop troupe. I didn't really believe in K-pop, he told me, but he began to see that the genre had an unusually strong fandom culture and suspected that he could leverage it more effectively than others had. Yeah, so if I know correctly, originally BTS was going to be a trio, right? RM, Suga, and J-Hope. But then Bang changed his mind and created a K-pop group rather. And suspected that he could leverage it more effectively than others had. He studied groups with die-hard loyalists, noting a trend toward tightly synchronized choreography and close and frequent fan communication, he said. He also realized that hardcore supporters get angry very easily, offended and angry. So there were things that we were not to do as well. Before BTS, K-pop idols were polished and often remote. When a group launched, its members went on television to promote their album, then retreated until the next release. Bang realized that the internet was a better way to reach young people. For BTS, he didn't bother with TV appearances. His strategy, he said, was trying to figure out the most fandom-friendly thing to do, and then taking it to the extreme. He established a YouTube channel for BTS well before his first single was released, filling it with behind-the-scenes clips. The group's 7 members ran their own Twitter account, unusual for a K-pop band, kept up a lively dialogue with their followers, live tweeting drunken nights on the town and publicly teasing one another about staged candid photographs. This breezy puncturing of their own mystique was central to their appeal. Yep, that's when the legend began, right? This is Bangtan TV. And the very first video was released 11 years ago. Tak 2, Rap Monster of 방탄소년단. Huh. Let's introduce Bangtan Room by 방탄소년단. Legendary. Let me take a sip of water. The boys also stood out for writing many of their own lyrics, occasionally in a regional dialect. Yeah. So all of the members are from non-Seoul regions in Korea. So RM's from Gyeonggi Ilsan, Jin is from Gyeonggi Gwacheon, Suga from Daegu, Jaeho from Gwangju, B from Gyeongnam Gyeochang, Jimin and Jungkook from Busan, which is pretty unique, right? No one's from Seoul originally. When BTS debuted in 2013, the dominant K-pop group Big Bang promoted an image of glamorous misbehavior. Interesting, glamorous misbehavior. BTS members foregrounded their uncertainties about the future, airing mental health and personal struggles. Reflection, a classic song. A song co-written by the group's leader RM ends with the refrain, "I wish I could love myself." To young listeners, the group was more accessible, thematically and literally, than its K-pop predecessors. I didn't want them to be false idols, Bang has said. I wanted to create a BTS that could become a close friend. This cultivation of authenticity has been rewarded. BTS has sold more than 40 million albums in South Korea alone, contributing an estimated $5 billion a year to the national economy. When its eldest member, Kim Seok-jin, approached 28, then the mandatory age of enlistment, the country's Military Service Act was amended to offer him a reprieve. As a pop culture artist who had greatly enhanced the image of Korea, he could defer for 2 years. And here we go. Yeah, BTS 30세까지 군대 안 가도 된다. 병역법 일부 개정안 공포. Yeah. Katseye, the English language girl group that Bang has developed with his American partners, reflects his international ambitions. I feel lucky I've had the opportunity since I was very young to work in a lot of cross-cultural environments, Bang told me. The knowledge he had gained would help drive HYBE's worldwide expansion. He compared his process without irony to AI. You know how machine learning happens? He asked. He studied local music industries and fan behavior across the globe in an attempt to target listeners in various countries more precisely. We don't apply our methodologies uniformly in each region, but we don't follow the practices of each region blindly either, he said. We take what works. Interesting. Alright, before Braun joined HYBE, Bang barely interacted with American music executives. He would come to the US and then not meet with anybody, Braun said. He traced his reluctance to a formative failure. When Bang was in his late 20s, he and a collaborator, JY Park, rented a room outside LA where they'd been told they could become what Bang called star producers. Yeah, JY Park, JYP had a big American dream, right, which failed at the time because of many reasons, one of them being the 2008 financial crisis, right, the recession. In Korea, they were certified hitmakers. In the States, they couldn't even get a meeting. Bang retreated to Seoul within months. Braun calls Bang a studio head, and Bang's reputation is as a producer and a lyricist first, and an executive second. He's adept at a wide variety of musical styles. Among the hits that he helped to create for BTS are Spring Day, classic, I love that song, an emotional anthem for lost loved ones, and Idol, a high-energy track that combines traditional Korean instruments with EDM stylings. Boom, 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 boom. Sorry. Braun's role at HYBE, as he saw it, was to be the cheerleader Bang deserved, introducing Bang and his artists to potential Western collaborators. The greatest triumph of their partnership so far is the solo career of BTS Jungkook, who, as Bang put it, had always wanted to become a US pop superstar. After becoming CEO, Braun played Jungkook on track 7, which had been written for Justin Bieber. Oh, interesting. I didn't know about that. The chorus, I'll be in your ride 7 days a week. Jungkook had been the baby of BTS, but Braun told him when Justin Bieber did a solo record without NSYNC, he leaned in with edge. Interesting. Oh, I didn't have that. Jungkook's album Golden, on which 7 appeared, was the first by a BTS member entirely in English. Braun enlisted such guest artists as Jack Harlow and Usher, who joined Jungkook on a remix of Standing Next to You, and invited him to perform it with him at the Super Bowl. That was one of the news that Korean media wrote as articles yesterday, right? Because this is something that we didn't know about, right? Jungkook could have performed at Super Bowl, but Jungkook's military service prevented him from accepting. So, bummer. But fingers crossed, BTS might perform at one of the future Super Bowl halftimes, right? I hope. Last November, the album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200. In 2023, Bang bought himself a mansion in Bel Air. The house requires significant maintenance, and he told me that the contractors he's hired have confirmed his suspicions about Americans' work ethic. Koreans, when they work on something, do it on time, he said. We're the fastest people in the world. Here, they say they're working on something, but they're not. Jun Choi, a top HYBE executive, sometimes stays at Bang's house during business trips to LA. So this is Jun Choi. And he came to HYBE from Pinkfong, best known in the US for the kitty sensation Baby Shark, and had been hired to oversee Weverse, a global superfan platform on which artists would post exclusive content. So he's the executive of Weverse. Okay, president of Weverse. Let's see. Yeah. When the pandemic hit, the app became a top priority. BTS postponed a world tour and live streamed a show on Weverse instead. The event reportedly drew 750,000 viewers, generating more than $18 million in ticket sales, and many fans bought merch mid-concert, also through Weverse. Choi's team has since pitched the platform to artists in South Korea, Japan, Mexico, and the US. The company has recruited Ariana Grande and Blackpink, a major K-pop group from a rival company. And if you don't know, this is what Weverse looks like. Okay, you get to choose like specific artist communities, and then if you set an alarm, you get like notifications. Of course, it's connected to Weverse shop as well. Where is it? The appeal for performance is straightforward. Why be subjected to haters on the wider internet when you can be surrounded exclusively by adoring fans? True. Artists who use a platform feel safer than when they're thrown into the wild social media world, Trey told me. Bang explained the business rationale behind Weverse. He'd come to feel that music makers like HYBE were merely furnishing raw materials for tech companies like Spotify, which marshals its user data to recommend artist merchandise and concerts. We had success with BTS thanks to the fan intimacy, he said, but we didn't know who our fans were or where they were because all the distribution was going through third parties. Weverse, a savvy amalgam of Instagram, YouTube, and Ticketmaster, is a one-stop shop. Data on demographics and consumption patterns flow back to HYBE and help determine everything from tour destinations to what languages to sing in. Upon downloading the app, I became one of more than 10 million monthly users, 9 million of whom don't speak Korean. After joining a group's community, I could learn more about each member, read their posts, and watch their streams, buy their merch, and buy for their individual attention, right? So if you go to like Katseye, you get to see what each member has posted recently, right? The experience can be overwhelming. My phone buzzed whenever an artist I follow posted a photo or even replied to someone else's comment. I came to know what time certain idols walk up because of the deluge of notifications that ensued. I also learned when they contracted COVID or got injured during a rehearsal, thanks to push alerts. The effect was the same as that of an overactive group chat if it were populated by pop stars instead of friends. It occurred to me that for a lonely teenager, Weverse might offer a substitute for the feeling of constant connection that such text threads provide. The app's simulacrum of intimacy is unsubtle. One morning, a banner ad invited me to try a paid feature. Weverse DM read, "Miss you, how's your day?" Weverse DM lets subscribers message idols directly. Choi told me that the feature would accelerate the process of becoming more of a fan and encourage heavier spending on the app, but not necessarily bring in new ones. He'd been ambivalent about the idea, and Pang initially opposed it, but executives who supported it prevailed. Interesting. So I didn't know that Pang initially opposed to the idea. It kind of makes sense given his characters. Choi approaches American labels with a disclaimer. Weverse is not for everyone on your roster. The unspoken reality is that hungry young artists willing to make themselves available to potential converts are preferable. Publicists uploading stills on their clients' behalf won't cut it. Oh, that's important, right? Weverse is also a good fit for acts whose followers have come up with their own fandom name, like Taylor Swift's devoted Swifties. Musicians who work with the app receive tips on how to deploy authenticity to convert mere listeners into something more. As Trey once put it, the thing we're really digging into is a psychological mechanism of falling in love. So that realness, authenticity matter, right? Converting listeners into true fans. Western executives have been seduced too. HYBE's deal with Universal, the world's largest music company, came after the smash hits Butter and Dynamite, BTS' first English-language singles. It was kind of a religious thing, Pang recalled, laughing. They just believed in me without any doubt. When developing Katseye, HYBE and Universal studied previous idol bands that had succeeded in America. I was pretty sure the Spice Girls should be our role model, Pang told me. He spent hours explaining to Grange and Yannick, the Interscope head, the art of engineering a K-pop band. And this is a group photo that they took, right? Yannick, and yeah, the chairman and CEO of Interscope, Geffen and AM. Executives reviewed audition tapes and trawled TikTok and Instagram for candidates, then flew the most promising to LA for more than a year of rigorous training. Once 20 finalists had been chosen, fans entered the picture. X Factor style survival shows have become a K-pop staple, giving viewers a greater sense of loyalty to and ownership of the artists who emerged victorious. For Katseye, voting took place on Weverse. After each mission, say updating a Spice Girls tune with K-pop choreography, users voted for their favorite contestants. And if you would like to know more about how this everything happened, go check out Pop Star Academy on Netflix. Okay, so that's a documentary of how Katseye came to be through that audition program. Some preferences align with executives' expectations. Sophia's La Forteza, a 21-year-old from the Philippines with killer vocals, got huge support. A more surprising victor was Manon Bannerman, a 22-year-old Ghanaian Swiss who had raw charisma but little experience as a singer or a dancer. So this is Sophia, and this is Manon. Okay, the ones that we just mentioned. To be perfectly candid, I don't like fan voting because I think there are some areas where that kind of collective intellect works and areas where it doesn't work, Pang told me. But sometimes good promotion is as important as good content. To reach a yet larger audience, HYBE and Geffen Records devised Popstar Academy, a Netflix docuseries charting the competition phase, which began streaming soon after Katseye debut was released. Yep, here we go. The executives honed the members' images obsessively. One early concern was that La Forteza, Sofia, all sweetness and diligence was too K-pop to appeal to Americans who expected something edgier. Humberto Leon is this guy right here. Humberto Leon. Sorry. Katseye's creative director even reviewed the captions of the girls' social media posts. Everything that has their voice, I'm a part of it, he said. While they trained, he constantly assessed what he called their believability. Could they really sell a gut-wrenching ballad or a joyful club track? They were also coached on facial expressions, like how to pull off a slight wink in the middle of a dance move, which is super important when it comes to K-pop performances, right? Not everyone can pull this off, even if they are fantastic singers, for example, or dancers. Katseye members, Leon said, needed a certain amount of confidence, but also a certain amount of vulnerability. Part of being a K-pop star is the ability to transform, which is why their debut album is called SIS, S-I-S. Soft is strong, right? That right balance of between confidence and vulnerability. One afternoon this spring, Katseye assembled at a dance studio in North Hollywood for a promotional ritual, depressingly referred to as a social content day. The survival show phase had left the group with a modest following. Now, like BTS had, Katseye was trying to build hype before its all-important debut. I arrived to find the girls teasing one another as they practiced lines that they had just been given for a new video. They spent the weekend moving into a house that they share in LA, and their friendship seemed real, even if label employees were determined to cannibalize it. A genuine moment in which the English phrase "crack open a book" was explained to Yoonchae Chung, the group's only Korean member and also maknae, was swiftly restaged for a behind-the-scenes clip. Now, this is the ones that they're talking about. Have you cracked open a book today? Yoonchae has. And yeah, if you go to Katseye channel, they made contents and uploaded them on the channel before their debut, since 9 months ago. The girls gathered for a photo shoot. Shouted prompts cycled them through poses. Cool was poised and unsmiling. Cute prompted a flurry of kisses and peace signs. Despite their different backgrounds, they looked strangely alike. All had the same willowy build and practiced gestures. La Forteza, Sofia, slipped away to rehearse. I had the most lines, she said, breathfully, before reciting them. Today is a huge day because, guess what? We finally got our official fandom name. While the announcement was being filmed, staffers crowded around the girls, brandishing 4 cameras and 2 phones. A laptop served as a makeshift teleprompter. In unison, the girls declared that their fans, in a rather tenuous pun, would be known as icons. One wonders what they would have been called had the company chosen another name for the band from its shortlist. New crazy. Yeah, that was funny as hell. Going with K, just like in Katseye, is just really highlights the close bond we have with you all, one girl said. A handler corrected her. The bond between us and all of you. Interesting. The script emphasized that the word icons had come directly from fans. Later, a HYBE employee told me that she routinely monitored Weverse for hashtags and slogans that the company would appropriate. Interesting. Huh. They are monitoring like the fans' responses. Some HYBE artists, including BTS, play an active role in their own promotional strategies to ensure that their actual personalities shine through. People can't really fake their friendships in most contexts, the employee said. Superfans analyze body language to identify tensions among members. K-pop fans always notice, and they usually guess correctly. That's pretty scary. Okay. HYBE has figured out how to stoke genuine camaraderie through artificial means. The artists take trips together, which help members bond while generating valuable gateway content. The Katseye girls have flown to Seoul during the survival show phase and documented excursions to theme parks and convenience stores. After the competition, their handlers deployed tactics from other HYBE groups to build a fan base. Suga, a BTS member, has shared his musical taste in online DJ sessions. Katseye unveiled Katseye Radio to showcase the girls' favorite tracks. A group called Tomorrow by Together had written letters to fans, Katseye did the same. Every month, the girls were given letterhead and a theme, along with some basic parameters. Think about memories from when you were young. Don't specify too much personal information. Initially, some members mentioned family members by name, but these details were later scrubbed to deflect stalking. So yeah, they got some cute content videos before their debut. So go check them out if you're interested. At the end of Katseye's day at the studio, the band had to film a dance cover of a track from another nascent HYBE girl group, Islet. The clip would promote Islet and Katseye simultaneously. As the girls rehearsed, I was struck by both their skill and the emptiness of what they were being asked to do with it. Interesting use of the word emptiness. The video for Islet's new song, Magnetic, had just been released, and Katseye had to memorize the choreography over the weekend by scrutinizing an early cut whose digital watermarks had obscured Islet's hand motions that you like a magnetic, right? Sophia has stayed up until 4 a.m. to perfect her moves after the official video dropped. She told me this cheerfully, adding, "That's the job." She would definitely do that. As artists within K-pop and beyond have discovered, fans' obsessive love can tip quickly into entitlement. Taylor Swift, who once wrote directly to followers on Tumblr, making them feel like friends, has increasingly faced mutinies. Last year, she dumped Matty Healy, the 1975's frontman, amid a Swiftie-led pressure campaign. An open letter accused them of engaging in racist remarks, making offensive jokes, and watching degrading pornography. But her subsequent album was laced with disdain for both Healy and the outsiders who presumed to guide her love life. One review was headlined, "Taylor Swift really hates Matty Healy and also maybe us." That's on Glamour. Interesting. K-pop artists rarely hash out at their fans. Seok-young Kim, a professor at UCLA, believes that the dynamic goes beyond the conventional parasocial relationship between celebrity and civilian. K-pop stars, she writes in her book about the genre, are required to cultivate the sense of a two-way love affair. It helps that most idols, including the members of BTS, do not openly date. Kim told me that their artists are trained to see themselves as public property. Adding that they are on social media 24/7, living under the surveillance of cameras that are constantly following them. Last year, Jungkook fell asleep for 20 minutes on Weverse Live while more than 6 million people watched. I remember that. Right here, right? Jungkook sleeping. The kind of self-exposure isn't unique to K-pop. In 2011, Billboard introduced an annual Top Social Artist Award, confirming that online followings have become as important as record sales. Bieber, who got his start on YouTube, received the award for the first 6 years. BTS won it for the next 5. The group's victories are partly attributable to its ARMY. Shout out to ARMYs, the international fandom that promotes BTS on social media, translates its content into more than a dozen languages, and raises millions of dollars for causes that reflect the group's values. ARMY, Kim told me, is a labor of love, and it is intense labor. Even when an act has devoted fans, longevity is far from assured. Kim said of the K-pop machine, interesting, K-pop machine, there's no other music industry in the world targeting young people that systematically pushes out this volume of music. Nearly every day, there's some teaser or music video or album coming out. Because of the intensity of the competition, Kim noted, the career of an idol tends to be very short, which is sad. Bang has taken bold steps to prolong BTS's lifespan. RM, the leader, has said that HYBE always told us about how important it is to make a world. 세계관, like Star Wars or Marvel. BTS music videos, Bang decided, should be designed to deepen viewer immersion. He told me, we thought, instead of just having a plot for the music video itself, why not have some lore behind it? Wouldn't that make it easier for fans to dive deep? The experiment started in 2015 with the single I Need You. The accompanying music video was rife with allusions to a larger narrative. The tone was somber and the scene cinematic in nature, with no bright colors or elaborate choreography. Images had dark subtext. One boy reached numbly for pills behind the bathroom mirror. Another stared down at his own bloodied hands. It was the first entry in the so-called Bangtan universe, in which alternate versions of the 7 members are trapped in a cycle of tragedy and struggle to break free. And speaking of Bangtan Universe, the Smeraldo flower is part of that, right? And in fact, Bang Si-hyuk created this whole like fake flower shop blog on Naver blog just for that lore, right? This fictional legendary flower called Smeraldo, which Jimin of Bangtan BTS turned into a album, solo album, right? Muse. The title track is Smeraldo Garden Marching Band. Where is it? This fantastical scenario energized a passionate subset of fans. As Bang had hoped, they generated countless artistic tributes and traded theories about the meaning of each installment. With BTS, HYBE has it both ways. The boys themselves are relatable. Their fictionalized selves are franchisable. The Bangtan universe now spans 27 official videos and has been augmented by books, webtoons, and a video game. Before, we just thought we were idols, Jin, the group's oldest member, has said. Now, it feels kind of like we're playing the lead roles in a movie. Interesting. Weverse Con Festival, a 2-day affair, is an annual showcase of HYBE's power. This June, it was in Incheon. 18,000 fans paid as much as $66 each to watch a live stream. And when I logged in early on a Sunday morning, users were comparing time zones as if they were battle scars. A woman named Jen, who has stayed up all night to see her favorite group, confessed, "I'm going to work with no sleep and I work with machinery." In Incheon, K-pop luminaries were performing before an audience of 22,000. Jaewon Park, Bang's ex-producing partner and a former idol himself, I don't think people regarded him as an idol though. Okay, anyways, was about to begin a set. I mean, he's a legendary artist. With the tantalizing promise of special guests, a platform rose to reveal Bang himself soulfully strumming an acoustic guitar. And this is it, right? Oh, no, sorry, this is Lara. Yeah, here we go. This was great and funny at the same time. I like the performance. Park wore a tight purple top and shiny silver trousers. Bang looked staid in black as he headbanged to the beat. This one. Decades after he had relinquished his teenage dream, Bang was finally playing to a packed arena. But the crowd went wild only once he had left the stage, when the members of the boy band ENHYPEN emerged from the floor in shredded clothes, as if coming out of their graves. Fake cobwebs and gothic arches formed a backdrop as the boys moved in perfect unison, a horde of improbably elegant zombies. Vampire lords, someone enthused on Weverse. Bang hit on ENHYPEN's undead look when watching the boys as trainees. There's something really dark and sexy about them. They are super sexy. You know, I went to their concert last weekend, right? And dark and sexy is the right description for them. Back then, they were not part of the general public, but not celebrities yet. Being of two worlds, but not belonging to either, made me think of vampires. When ENHYPEN was formed in 2020, a gothic aesthetic known as dark academia was dominating TikTok. Bang had tapped into the trend. HYBE now has an entire story division that supplies acts with fictional narratives for promotional content. ENHYPEN's vampire persona have appeared in a Twilight-like web novel and an EP called Dark Blood, right? One track is titled Bite Me. And this web novel is Dark Moon, if I remember correctly. Bang told me the fan reaction was, I think, a big milestone for us. They didn't say this is another way HYBE is making money by utilizing our ENHYPEN. They enjoyed it as its own concept. Good. Bang noted that it's important for the artist to like the story, adding, if the artists think about it as business and nothing else, we've seen that that lowers the chance of success for the endeavor. Yeah, that's super important. The first thing we're going to talk about is hair changes. Humberto Leon, Katseye's creative director, said, displaying a series of photographs of the girls on a screen. Executives had gathered in John Jennings' office at Interscope Geffen down the road from HYBE America to review plans for the group's debut. Leon and Bang, Zoom handle Hitman, were attending remotely. The most dramatic makeover was that of Daniela, a 20-year-old Cuban Venezuelan American whose black ringlets had been dyed honey blonde. Leon explained, it gives her Latin flavor. If we think of Shakira, I think this gives her that vibe. Janet, wearing a baseball cap and perched in an Eames chair, said, "Good." Leon clicked on a slide labeled Odd Eye Explorer and hesitated. This is something Bang had talked to us about. Odd eye is a Korean term that refers to people with two different color eyes, he said. On screen, one of the Indian American member Lara Raj's eyes, which are brown, had been turned ice blue. Carefully, Leon said, "I think it could look a little alien-like." Another skeptical executive deemed the vibe James Bond villain. So for those of you who don't know, this is Lara. She got beautiful vocals. And this is Daniela. Okay. And yeah, this is Leon, right? Humberto Leon. Bang is normally inquisitive in meetings. What is the hero story? What makes a fan love Yoonchae? But today, he seemed preoccupied. Someone gently said, "Bang, this is an idea that you suggested." "I'll give it some thought," he said vaguely. Raj's eyes remained brown, and we'll soon know why Bang was preoccupied. The group began discussing a treatment for Katseye's first music video, outlining such themes as overcoming fear and dreaming big, and having fun with just the girls. Bang suddenly interjected, "I'm really, really sorry, but I need to make an urgent phone call." And here we go. An insurrection had broken out within HYBE. Bang had come to believe that Minijin, the head of a sublabel responsible for the wildly popular girl group NewJeans, was trying to leave HYBE and take the band with her. Earlier that day, Min had held a 2-hour press conference in which she disputed the charge and shared, "Oh wow, that day?" and shared a text from Bang himself asking her to crush a rival act, aespa, right? aespa 밟을 수 있죠. The event had aired on all 3 major Korean broadcasters and been live streamed on YouTube. The NewJeans uproar would soon cause the company's stock to plunge by hundreds of millions of dollars. HYBE had been the first K-pop company big enough to implement a multi-label system. Now, the hydra that Bang had felt for a decade was threatening to eat itself. Though the conflict underlined the perils of overextending one's empire, Bang was fortunate ahead. A few weeks later, he told me, "Music delivers a very strong experience and emotions in an instance of listening, but we want to make it so that it can be part of a much longer and more sustained type of content consumption." I like that. He continued, "I read books about gamification and why people are addicted to games." He was studying multiplayer online role-playing games and first-person shooters and planned to develop games across multiple genres. Some would feature alter egos of HYBE artists, but others would have no connection with the idols. This turn felt at once arbitrary and revealing. Increasingly, the company seemed to be losing interest in the musicians themselves. I don't really buy this though. So on the one hand, I'm not entirely, so as you know, I'm a HYBE shareholder, right? I invest in HYBE stocks because I share their vision. But I don't completely, I'm not completely in love with their game business, right? HYBE, I am. Although I've been trying to, believe in their vision in that front as well. And I've talked to the current CEO about it at the last shareholder meeting. But on the other hand, I don't think this is entirely true though. The company seems to be losing interest in the musicians themselves. Yes, they are trying to diversify, right? By investing and working on different, products and different technologies and different businesses. But them losing interest in musicians, I don't really buy that. Anyways, indeed, HYBE has been quietly testing out VTubers, animated characters rendered via motion capture of human actors. In Japan, where the practice originated, these avatars bring in millions of dollars a month, live streaming and performing in concerts. Bang told me that HYBE's VTube projects don't use the company's name, adding that they are an experiment to identify what it is that people find attractive in digital characters. HYBE has acquired Supertone, an AI audio startup, and he anticipates debuting digital singers soon. The expandability of non-human artists is unlimited. So this is what Supertone website looks like. They are like AI sound platform, or they develop AI sound technologies, and they have recently debuted a virtual girl group, but they have not been making any impact. I listen to their music, but it's In terms of VTube characters, Plave is a virtual boy group. They've been quite popular and they've been very successful. And based on what I know, Plave and HYBE Japan have made partnerships so that the company could help them promote themselves in Japan. So, that kind of hints at the potential partnership between the two companies, right? At least like between Plave and their labels and HYBE, right? Not for the first time, I wonder if Bang's mania for optimization had gone too far. Okay, that's a right question to ask. HYBE's goal, it seems, is simply to get bigger, embracing whatever medium, language, or technology maximizes its reach. Choi, the Weverse executive, felt that the app was an extension of his boss's love of music. Bang, he insisted, wants to be in the music business forever, but he felt that the entire industry situation was very hard. Although Bang's fixation on audience data had kept his artists afloat, the emphasis on constant growth has changed the company culture. We're expanding like a US business. We're expanding catalogs, we're expanding our labels, Bang told me. I don't know if we can even call this K-pop anymore, what this will become. Okay, this makes me have a lot of thoughts as a shareholder and investor and a fan, right? So, Bang is known to be innovative and he's a frontier runner, right? But at the same time, many analysts, like the stock analysts and corporate analysts, share this feeling, right? HYBE is maybe their goal, it seems, is simply to get bigger, but maybe Bang Si-hyuk has a point, right? When he says the entire industry situation was very hard, right? So we'll have to see. As long as they make great music, and they care about their artistry and care about their fans, I'll continue to support them and believe in them, right? But we'll have to see how their investments in like technologies and like games would go. When Katseye debut single title debut was released in June, it met with a tepid response. The attempt to showcase all 6 girls in a 2-minute track felt rushed. Yeah, indeed. The lyrics, co-written by Ryan Tedder, who also worked on Halo for Beyonce, were awkward. Love me once the naughty turns to nice. I like the line though. So it is true that even the fans were about the song, especially because it was super short and it didn't get to showcase the members' beautiful vocals. But I like the song, and many fans like the song, but they were not crazy in love with the song though. But by midsummer, Bang's playbook was working. The far catchier second single, Touch, came complete with TikTok-friendly choreography and soon became lost on Spotify's top hit playlist. When a video dance with Blank and You'll Miss It hints and a larger universe was released, fan theories bloomed in response. The EP's third track, co-produced by Bang, is particularly revealing of his method. So this, where is it? Oh, I guess I didn't have that. But anyways, back to the article. If Touch is a boppy earworm about waiting for a boy to text you back, a near universal experience for Katseye target demographic, My Way weaves in the girl's personal preoccupations. I love that song. So yeah, here we go. This is a track list, right? So debut, Touch, and My Way. That's produced by Bang Si-hyuk. Track number 3. New HYBE artists undergo extensive interviews that dig into their personal lives, convictions, and anxieties. For Katseye, Bang had deputized an executive to ask them about how the world sees them and how they were able to let these things go. Bang reviewed the transcripts and channeled the answers into My Way. Interesting. Which is about brushing off haters. Every time, I tried to put in stories from the lives of the members, he told me. I love that. So he cares that the message in each song reflects the stories of their artists, right? Avanzini sings of youthful insecurity about her thick curly hair. During a live stream celebrating the album, listeners latched on to the verse. I can relate to you, Danny. So Daniela, right? One wrote, adding, I have super curly hair and I struggled for a long time to love it. In July, I attended Katseye's first live performance, which took place in LA on the final day of KCON. So this is what I just showed you, right here. Pre-show, Katseye, KCON LA. K-pop, an annual proving ground for K-pop acts. The NHYBE booth at the LA Convention Center featured exclusive versions of the group's latest album, Romance Untold Classic, which could be purchased only via Weverse. This is the first album that I bought after making my YouTube channel. I thought that the added fuss of scanning a QR code and downloading an app might hurt sales, but attendees whipped out their phones and the limited editions quickly sold out. That weekend, Romance Untold hit number 2 on the Billboard 200. A few hours before the show, I noticed a crowd dotted with black and purple signs that read, Welcome to Katseye World, converging around the booth devoted to KCON's lead sponsor, Samsung Galaxy. The girls, dressed in red and black, were doing some sponcon. A man with a microphone celebrated the way the Galaxy enabled users to take hands-free selfies and asked the girls to demonstrate. They struck their cute pose. A boy near me, in a pastel blue sweater, shouted for the members by name. Manon, Yunche, Sophia. His eyes brimmed with tears. The boy, a 19-year-old from Alabama named Joshua, had flown to LA with 8 friends for KCON. He had followed Katseye since the competition phase, downloading Weverse to vote for his favorites, and had supported all 6 of the final members. A black dancer himself, he found Manon's selection moving. To see people of my same background break out onto the scene and to get to watch her journey and her growth is really inspiring, he told me. What's special about Katseye is that they feel so down to earth, like normal people. Yeah, they do feel like friends. If you watch their contents and watch them talk to each other, right, and talk to fans. In fact, I've seen them in person, right, and I talked to them when they came to Korea, and I attended a fan event, and although most of the audience at the time, like I expected, were international fans, but still, the interaction between the fans and the Katseye felt really friendly. I headed to the nearby Crypto.com arena to see an array of idols perform. Katseye, as a new group, was part of the pre-show. It was only 4:45 p.m. when the girls went on stage, and the arena was far from filled, but true believers screamed loudly enough to compensate. Giant screens displayed an introductory clip for each idol. Sophia's prompted a roar. Pang's training regime was paying off. The members' chemistry had visibly increased since I met them. Their choreography was immaculate, down to their fine-tuned facial expressions. After the group sang debut, each girl addressed the crowd, telegraphing gratitude and excitement. Later, when clips of the performance were uploaded, icons, the fandom, responded with proprietary pride at how far the group had come. When I spoke to Bang again in September, he, too, was pleased with Katseye's progress. Yeah, rightfully so. They performed on Good Morning America, and though not everything was to his satisfaction, I knew American music shows wouldn't be able to create the sort of stage that meets my expectations. The girls had delivered. They have already amassed some 10 million monthly listeners. Katseye would soon begin a tour of South Korea, Japan, and the Philippines. They already completed the tour, by the way. We're moving in step with the grand plan, Bang said. There have been whispers among his American peers about whether this would work here, he said, a bit smugly. We can see with the numbers that it is. His situation in Korea was less stable. Minijin had been forced out, but the HYBE idols who'd been under her care wanted her back, and had used the company's own tools to express displeasure. After our CEO was dismissed, I've been struggling and dealing with a lot of worries, a NewJeans member wrote to fans. But there wasn't a day that went by that I didn't think of you all and how you must be feeling. Addressing their fandom bunnies, right? In mid-September, NewJeans stealthily held a live streaming in which they demanded Min's reinstatement and called out their boss directly. We hope Chairman Bang and HYBE will make a wise decision. Oh my goodness, reading this in English makes it sound even more ridiculous. Sorry. When I asked Pang about Min, he declined to comment, citing the ongoing legal conflict. Okay. That's wise. He had other corners of the empire on his mind. HYBE has opened offices in Mexico City and Miami in an attempt to enter the Latin music market. The company is quietly training a group in the region. It's running well, Bang said. He's also developing 2 new groups in the US, a boy band and another girl group, and was back in LA to work on a track with the rapper Don Toliver. Right here. Interesting. Okay. Um, My ambition is not to just have one successful group, Pang said. To achieve the ultimate goal of cultural change is almost a necessity to make sure you have many of them progressing. Though he still speaks of BTS with paternal fondness, Bang takes a more hands-off approach with HYBE's fledglings. When he called to congratulate BTS on topping the Billboard charts for the first time in 2021, a moment immortalized in one of the behind-the-scenes videos that helped to make the boys famous, he was near tears. Right here, if you're curious, go check it out. Bangtan Bomb, the phone with Bang PD, BTS, 4 years ago. These days, things are different. Even N-Hyphen, one of HYBE's great hopes, has been subjected to a punishing, data-driven campaign. This summer, when the band concluded one world tour and immediately announced another, devotees parked a truck in front of the company's Seoul headquarters, emblazoned with the words, "Let N-Hyphen rest." The group has sold millions of albums in the past few months alone, but few outside the world of K-pop have heard of them. Pang himself almost never watches them in the flesh. In deference to his digital native audience, he now makes it his policy to experience HYBE artists through a screen. Concerts like Weverse Con aside, he told me, I haven't seen a live performance in person in a very long time. Interesting. But he did like take photos with N-Hyphen. I guess that's back in 2022. But didn't he go to N-Team's concert in Seoul last month though? Yeah. Pang noted that it had been easier to train Katseye than early HYBE acts because the girls had already internalized much of his playbook. Young artists from one generation ago, when we talked about K-pop style fan engagement, a lot of them weren't comfortable with doing it, he said. But Katseye's members were eager and active, even more sometimes than K-pop artists. A week later, on the Philippines leg of Katseye's Asia tour, Sophia started a Weverse Live. The stream had the air of a casual FaceTime with a friend. It was late in Manila, and she was brushing her hair as viewers poured in. She's really good at fan interaction. Yeah, she felt really friendly. She said she was thrilled to be back home, but confessed that after several years in LA, she had grown rusty at using her mother tongue. Can you guys help me get back into the groove of speaking Tagalog? She asked in English. She switched playfully between the two languages, thanking Filipino users by name as they supplied words she had forgotten. Other Katseye members wandered into the room. Sophia offered them Philippine snacks. They'd been bantering for half an hour when a follower dropped a Tagalog tongue twister in the chat. Sophia managed it, but the other girls giggled as they stumbled over the words. It was the kind of easy, authentic, cross-cultural communion that Pang had dreamed of. After several attempts, nobody had quite mastered the sentence, but one had a suggestion for how to make it stick. If you teach me it's like a song, I will understand. Interesting way to end this article. By the way, that Weverse Live, I think, is this one. Philippines, UI Philippines. Yeah. So, that's a very fascinating and long article. I don't think I will be able to translate this right now, but I hope you liked it. So, like I said, this article dives deep into like Bang Si-hyuk's visions and like HYBE and its business and BTS and Katseye, right? And Bang Si-hyuk's like methods emphasize like long-term artist development, right? Contrasting with the quick fame model many U.S. labels pursue, right? And his approach includes like extensive training for idols, constant fan communication, and leveraging fandom loyalty. So, for example, BTS' rise to global fame is attributed to this so-called formula, right? Especially through platforms like Weverse, which help HYBE directly engage with its fan base, understand their behavior, and enhance, business-wise revenue streams too, right? Their article also explores like Bang Si-hyuk's partnership with Scooter Braun. That's actually how the article started, right? And HYBE's acquisition of Ithaca Holdings and the development of a new English language girl group, Katseye, modeled on K-pop. And we saw it discuss the challenge that HYBE faces in replicating the K-pop model internationally and the internal struggles within the company, especially the conflict with NewJeans. So I've learned a lot by reading this article, and Bang's focus on expanding HYBE into areas like gaming, AI, and VTubers show his broader ambitions to evolve the entertainment industry beyond music. I would like to believe in him, and I kind of shared his vision as well, both as just a I don't know, as a fan, investor, but just as a person as well. But we'll have to see if they can juggle all these different businesses correctly in the right way, right? Despite these innovations, though, the article notes the risk as well of overexpansion and the tensions between business growth and maintaining the realness, authenticity that fans cherish in K-pop. So yeah, overall, from the article, I've learned we learned about Bang Si-hyuk's transformative impact on like K-pop and also global pop culture, right? And his continued innovations and the challenges HYBE faces as it tries to extend its dominance beyond Korea, right? So, what do you guys think? I'd love to hear more of your thoughts in the comments. And here are some questions. Like, what do you think about like Bang Si-hyuk's approach to building long-term artist-fan relationships? And with HYBE expanding into the U.S. market and developing groups like Katseye, how do you think the K-pop model will translate to a Western audience? Especially given the fact that they're now about to launch a new group in Mexico, in Latin America as well, right? And how do you feel about the balance between authenticity and commercialization in K-pop? Like, is HYBE doing a good job, or is there a risk of over commercializing their artist? And last but not least, do you think BTS's model of authenticity can be successfully replicated in other countries as well, or is it something unique to K-pop? So I'll be super interested in hearing your thoughts. And as always, when you comment, please let's stay very positive and respectful and classy. Okay? Thank you guys. See you guys later. Peace and love. Bye bye. Love you.